What are you waiting for? Take it, jump through it. Take this business opportunity. Ask her out, propose. You gotta get married. Sign this contract. Move. They prayed for it. They persistently waited for it. And there is an opportunity. The moment is open. The door is open. And they missed the moment. Decisive faith is a little bit different than a persistent faith. The element to that faith. And we can see that in verse 50. We read Bartimaeus, so when Jesus, verse 49, Jesus calls him. Verse 50, Bible says this, Bartimaeus threw aside his coat, jumped up, and came to Jesus. Bartimaeus threw aside his coat, jumped up, and came to Jesus. I want you to see something here. If you don't understand the cultural reference here about the coat, you would miss it. In Israel at that time, those people that were disabled or blind, they couldn't provide for themselves, the government would give them these coats that identified them to the society, and they had right to ask for alms and beg for assistance and for help. And people knew that these were real, real cases of need, because they were blind, disabled, and they were not just pretending to be, they were not fake. You know, sometimes you drive on the street and people pretend to, pretend to be poor and collect funds and collect money. And I would talk to a person that got saved who used to do that. He said, I did not want to go to work and work honestly. I just stood on some corners of the street, collected funds. Why would I go to work if I could have more money at the end of the day begging other people, making up stories of unfortunate things that happened to me, and have more funds that way than working at 9-to-5 job and pay taxes and do all other stuff. Now, I'm not saying that's everybody's situation, but you don't know. And so the way the real cases of needs were identified, they were given these cloaks, these garments that would identify them and give them a right to sit on corners of the street and on the main streets and ask for alms. And Bartimaeus, by throwing that cloak, leaving it behind, and jumping up and going to Jesus, meant it was decided in his heart that I'm leaving behind this season and I'm stepping into a new one, that I'm leaving behind this lifestyle and I am stepping into the new life. There is shift that's happening, and I am seizing the moment. I'm being decisive, and I'm stepping into the new call, new season, this open door that have opened to me right now, and I'm stepping through it. And I'm seizing the moment. The decisiveness. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people in my life of ministry now, over 15 years, coming up on 20. Well, actually, it is 20. I have seen people, good-hearted people, people that love the Lord, but that are indecisive in their actions, that are fearful in their decisions. And sometimes I would look at them and I'm like, man, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. What are you waiting for? Take it, jump through it. This is not going to last forever. Take this business opportunity. This person that you are talking to, that you're dating, you gotta get married. This is God's thing. Go for it. Be decisive. Propose. Ask her out. Sign this contract. Move and make this career choice, this career decision. And these people they prayed for it. They persistently waited for it. And there is an opportunity. The moment is open. The door is open. And it's open only for a moment in time. and they miss the moment. And then they come back around. There's like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was the opportunity. Ah, man, I missed it. And then they're wondering why, I feel like I get chosen over and other people seems like they're moving forward and I am still stuck. I'm still not married. I still don't have this. I still don't have that. I'm believing for it. And I'm like, what? You literally, this opportunity just fell into your lap and you missed it because of your undecisiveness, because you are ruled by fear, because you have to have all the answers before you're going to make a decision. And that's just not how it works with God. God, I'm not saying to do things radically. I'm not saying to do things carelessly and recklessly. We see when God told Gideon, you're going to go and save the nation of Israel. I mean, obviously it was an absurd idea. He was nobody. It was a radical idea. But he tested God multiple times. And then he saw God come through. And step by step, with each testing, his faith grew. And then he stepped into the calling. He stepped into the window and became a deliverer. And God shifted and changed his season. It will require decisiveness on your part in your faith. I'll give you another example. Esther's story. Mordecai comes and says, listen, Esther, for such a time as this, you have been put in this place. It's not just because of your beauty. It's not just because of God's favor in your life, but because of this very moment. And you have to seize the moment. You have to be decisive in this moment. And you have to go to the king and intercede for your nation. And if you don't do it, even the very thing that you have, it will be lost. And so you have to sense and seize the moments. And you have to be decisive in your faith. In James, Bible says that a double-minded man cannot expect to receive anything from the Lord. You have to be decisive. And that's what Bartimaeus did. The moment Jesus called him, he said, that's it. This is my moment. This is my opportunity. This is what I've been waiting for. I am going to Jesus. I'm leaving my old life behind. I'm leaving this cloak, which was his provision. I'm leaving everything. I'm leaving this street corner. I'm not going to just wait till Jesus comes to me. I'm going to him. He's calling me. I'm leaving all of those things behind. I'm making a decision. I'm not looking back. I am going after what Jesus has for me. Faith must have true faith. The faith that catches attention of Jesus must have that decisive factor. People would come and go to a prayer line or receive one-on-one ministry, or after the service they receive a ministry. They feel like God touched them, something happened, and they would come and say, Pastor, I know the Lord healed me. Can I get off the medication? And they are set, they're decisive. Like, I know God touched me, and my step of faith will be because I believe that God healed me to get off a medication. Now, I want to give a caution here, a warning of caution here, in this regard. It does not, in my personal opinion, it's not scriptural. I know there's some men of God that will disagree with me. Okay? In my humble personal opinion, and I've seen that in the ministry in the last 15, 20 years, taking medication does not mean you're not believing for your healing. Taking medication after you feel like you were healed does not mean now you doubt your healing. Okay? I personally don't believe that. And I don't see any contrary things to scripture that would suggest otherwise. Now, the Lord might lead some to get off medication, but I have also seen in the ministry when a person was so convinced that they got healed and they got off dialysis and they've passed away. That's not to bring fear to anybody. So I've searched and we looked for ways, how do we suggest people to go around? People want to be decisive in their faith. In regard to health, because of the advancement of the science, most of the time, doctors are able to confirm the healing even with medication. Okay? I talked to one, I talked to a doctor. We have doctors in our church. And I asked him, I said, listen, one particular issue, I don't want to disclose the names and the particular issue. I said, doctor, you know we believe in healing, we believe in deliverance. But we clearly, the person that I was working with, I was like, clearly this person, it had to do with their mental state, mental moods and stability. I said, clearly we see that the moment this person gets off this medication, they're not acting right, they're not feeling right. They literally had to be locked up in a mental institution to recover. But they were so passionate and they believe with every prayer that they received during Sunday or during altar call that that's it, this is the prayer, I am healed. I said, doctor, advise me, how can I advise this person? I believe in power of prayer. You know, in our church we pray. And even that doctor, he himself received healing in our ministry. And I said, but how do we go about this particular person? And this doctor said, listen, it's simple. If the person is truly healed, we'll take the blood work, we'll take the analysis, and it will show stable levels, and we'll be able to win them out safely. We will know when they're healed. And then we can work with them to slowly win out. And this was the case of some medication they were taking for mental issues because chemical imbalances in the brain. If you get off of one or the other really quickly, it can throw you into you could be healed, but it just even a healthy person would throw them into a spiral of depression or other things. And so he said, look, I'm going to take the blood work from this person when they feel like they feel like they're healed, and the blood work will show me exactly if those levels are stabilized, and if they are, we slowly start weaning them off, and I'm going to praise with you for God for their healing with God, that the God healed them. And I was like, oh wow, that's cool, that's amazing. And we were able now to work with that person. I still believe, and I'm still praying for that person, and that person is also believing the time is coming, and I believe like it's very close. They're very close to their healing. I don't know why, but there's sometimes it works like this. They're working their faith out to their healing, and they will get healed, and they will go to the doctor, and doctor will say, you are healed, we no longer need this medication, let's take next 3 months to wean you off. So I want to caution those people that have and believing for their health, specifically for medication that has to do with chemical balances and the mind. Be careful getting them off of them by yourself. If you are truly healed, go to your doctor. Let them know, let them help you wean off correctly. It doesn't take away from your faith, okay? If you have other medications that can severely have severe side effects, be wise about it. It doesn't mean that if you're going to take time to be weaned off of it and you're not going to stop tomorrow because Spirit of God told you, that you have lack of faith. No, everything that you hear must be tested. And how do you test? Simple. Go to the doctor, say, doctor, I feel like I'm healed. Spirit of God told me that I'm healed. Test it. And the doctor will tell you, yes, you are healed. Let's get you off the medication. You don't need that medication anymore. Okay? Everything can be tested. And because of the advancement of science, we can test many things now. Now, back those days, many of them would have to rely by faith to get off the medication. That would be their step of faith. Now it's not required that much. When God touches you and you're healed, doctors will know. Now, not every doctor would cooperate and work with you. Then, hey, in the United States and other places in the world, you are free to go find another doctor, the one that will agree to work with you. And that's what we did in that particular case. We found a doctor that would work with them, which it happened to be one from our church. And the person has got healed. God has healed them from many different things, but he's believing for one particular one thing that will kind of just finish this whole process of healing completely, and they will be okay. And so that's just a word of caution that I want to give in the area of healing particularly.